Someone DC'd. But anyway, we are in game. Game number 1 of a best of 5. It is going to be good. Yonsu is the first map and spawning in the lower left-hand position. As the red Terran player, it's Revenge. And his opponent up in the top right, the teal Protoss. It's Weak. So, Weak versus Revenge. Which way will this go? I do not know. Can I also point out, right, that is not big enough for an SUV to get in. It just wouldn't fit. Let alone 5 of them. Never would work. Anyway, all in all, things going pretty good. Pylon coming down. Of course, CC first is a possibility. We saw that last game. A gateway first and a racks first are more likely openings. Maybe a bit of aggression. One base plays from Terrans are quite common actually. Just doing a little bit of damage, you know. Maybe some Widow Mine drops. Maybe some Cloak Banshee play. All possible. Good fun times. Yeah, all in all, things looking fairly safe. Barracks coming down. So yeah, Barracks, gateway, everything on the card's good. Now, mid-game TVP. Come on, we all know about this. It's all good. You either get, generally speaking, Colossi or High Templar. Then you get both. Terran player has to get Vikings and Ghosts, EMPs, Snipes. Good positioning. Always good times. But yeah. Before that, it's the one base plays. That's the important thing. There is the big period where, of course, gateway units are pretty solid up against Terran. And Terran players, until they get stim, can sometimes struggle. Although Widow Mines do alleviate that somewhat, especially defensively. Offensive Widow Mine players also really cool. I'm having to use all of my concentration at the moment because I so desperately want to sneeze. But I think I've managed to control it, and I think I deserve some points for that. If you need to sneeze, can you control not sneezing while still talking? That took a lot of power. That's like caster level over 9,000. Imagine if you sneezed at like BlizzCon finals. That'd be so embarrassing. Anyway, SCV coming up, just getting a little bit of scanning information. Note this from Weak. Weak did this in game 2 we saw of him against Sol. 1 probe and he's going up to 3 probes in gas off 2 geysers. And then just slowly building up. Not quickly going anymore. So, this just means Mothership Core coming down, but Revenge, he's seen everything he needs. He's got a little look. Getting a reactor down too. Command center should be placed. There we go. All looking good. Factory could be on its way fairly quickly as well. But interestingly, the reactor started before the factory. That's just to pump out a couple of Marines. 1 Reaper already on its way over. So I didn't make a big deal of this Reaper because it's just 1 Reaper for the time being. And the Stalker's getting chrono boosted pretty fast. So unlikely to be able to do too much. May get a probe kill if it's a really lucky Reaper. But of course with the Stalker coming out, it's always going to be problematic. The Zealot chasing it down too. Mothership Core, a little bit delayed actually. A lot of players, a lot of Protoss players rush out that Mothership Core, but it's going to be a bit later just due to the fact that Zealot wasn't skipped. Now a little bit of mind games here. Reaper going out, then in, straight away again. Going to come and sneak back through. Stalker like, ah, shucks. I wish I was there. But yeah, Probe's getting pulled. This is a bit of lost mining time, but there's a Mothership Core. Just going to be putting an end to this. This Reaper's in a bit of an uncomfortable position. Should be able to sneak away just though. Needs to go down this little cliff. This convenient ledge, purely for Reapers. It's also a really great place to cannon rush here, by the way. Put a pylon down here and then build a cannon in the base. LOLs! People won't like that. But anyway, factory, reactor, bunker, all looking good. Expansion coming down though too from Weak. That's really what we like to see. Good little expansion there. Just going to be teching it up. Starport as well coming through. Widow Mine drop, probably going to be playing this through considering a Widow Mine's coming out. But Widow Mine drop's always good. Reaper coming back up and in. Note the Mothership Core is right down to the cliff here. I wasn't expecting the Reaper to come through that way. Probes being pulled too, pretty low. With the Reaper being forced just to back it out as the Stalker comes chasing. The sentries there as well. But Revenge doing a good job of using this Reaper very effectively just to harass and soak up some of the attention of Weak in defending it. But nothing too much. I'm also getting good scouting information. I believe that the... oh, actually no, the robotics facility wasn't spotted building. Even still has not been seen. Probably will get spotted fairly soon though if the Reaper comes back in. And that's why the Mothership Core is staying over here, just to try and deny that scouting. But the Reaper almost wants to suicide to get that scout. Can be quite powerful. Observers should be coming out of this pretty quick. There we go. But now of course the Reaper does spot it. Sees it's making something. Widow Mine drop may not go ahead now. We'll wait and see. It depends whether... Really there's a hope that that can still do damage. But with the Observer, it's going to be a lot harder to get that down. The Mothership Core as well has over 100 energy ready for the Photon Overcharge if needed. Reaper, that's just still dancing around, still having a bit of a good time, and yeah, just really keeping on the pressure. No push coming out. The medevac though is now here, so this is when the move out could begin. There's the load up, couple of Marines, 2 Widow Mines. Where's it going to go though? Because the Observer, of course, is going to keep a good track of anything that could be coming down. Not quite sure where the Observer actually is at the moment. Oh, there we go, chilling in the main. Reaper still being a bit of a pain. Force field doesn't really stop it, so bit of a wasted force field there. Second Observer going down to the natural. That's going to really quite minimize how effective this drop's going to be. But remember, there are Marines in there too, so they can do a good bit of damage. A scan, hypothetically, could even be used, but it's unlikely. 1, because there's not enough energy, and 2, you wouldn't really want to use that scan there. It wouldn't warrant it. But the probes getting pulled, but unfortunately, they're all getting probed together. Detonation will go off, gets a couple of kills. First one gets taken down. Meanwhile, second Widow Mine just coming down towards the natural base, but unfortunately, there was detection there. But the detonation goes down, does kill a couple of probes, and also deals a good bit of damage to those sentries. But the Marines weren't dropped out. Back at home, a lot more Marines are coming down. Stim and combat shield should get started up. There we go. All looking good. Meanwhile, though, this Reaper still doing some damage. Is the Reaper going to get his first kill? No! I feel so bad for this Reaper, everyone. He's been trying so hard. Quick little drop down here. That Stalker's got a little bit of problems. That probe could have died. Being merciful there momentarily. Revenge. Revenge adding on some more barracks. Adding on some more gas. Pretty normal stuff, to be honest. Should also be seeing fairly soon some engineering bays, etc. And this is cool. The robotics bay just means Colossi gonna be making their way out towards the field fairly soon. But oh, in comes the medevac once again. Unfortunately, gonna be rejected pretty hard, but does trigger a Photon overcharge. That's actually not too bad. A Photon overcharge for nothing is generally a good little move, especially when you've got a push coming across the map, as we see Revenge does. Because now there's no Photon overcharge in the natural. This Reaper is a hero. He survived for so long. He may not have killed anything, but my goodness, that's like one of the longest surviving Reapers I've ever seen. Shy of like a Bronze League game where it goes and hides in the corner after the first bit of harassment. But yeah, big push coming in now. Second medevac, I believe, is making its way over, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, that's a factory, never mind. But yeah, the Observer is going to get a good little scout here. That's a really powerful scout knowing about this. But unfortunately, what can be done? Some force fields can be utilized, but there's no energy for the Photon overcharge. That's going to make things a bit more challenging. There's also the risk of the drop coming through. That'd be frustrating. Just waiting for the additional medevacs to come through and Stim to finish up. I definitely think it's worthwhile waiting for the Stim now. Purely because it's only a short way away. 40 seconds, less than that, 35. And getting Stim makes your push so much more powerful. It makes gateway units alone not that useful. But the first Colossus is going to pop out in the nick of time. Blink, of course, is done for these Stalkers, so they're going to get a nice little move forward there. Small push towards the natural. Good force fields there. Trap actually quite a few units. The Marauder going to get focused. A few Marines managed to sneak off away. The Mothership Core, 30 energy-ish away from being able to Photon overcharge once again. But, of course, the second Colossus coming down. Photon overcharge isn't quite ready yet. The factory moving on up. Getting some good scouting information. Revenge being quite aggressive. Rallying across the map as well. Definitely wanting to keep this pressure up. Keep a good look at where things could be moving. That Colossus, though, look at that damage it does. So strong. Scan goes down. See if there's any more. The factory, you're going to see the second Colossus popping. 2 Colossi. Even without extended thermal launch yet, this is really an awkward position to move into because getting a concave would be so hard for Revenge. So I think it's wise retreating back here for the moment. May opt to try and do a little bit of drop play. May just go and try and expand. And that's what we're actually seeing here, getting that third up. Going to just opt for the contain. I think that's a really wise choice, actually. Just deny the third. And if a Protoss player moves down here, it becomes a lot harder to defend. So, really smart decision making from Revenge at the moment. Weak though, he's still getting up a good army. Needs to start thinking about, doesn't have to rush out getting a tech switch because of course he's already got the Twilight Council to get Blink. But oh, engagement coming down here now. Outside the natural, these Colossi don't have extended thermal lance quite yet. The gateway units are taking a significant amount of damage. The Marauders moving forward. 1 Colossus down, 2 Colossi will now fall. And it's the gateway units only remaining. These Stalkers are dishing out some good damage, but there is a lot of Marines and a lot of Marauders. It's the Zealots though. They're tanking up the fire. That's the important part of this combination. But losing 2 Colossi, that was definitely worthwhile. A Sentry too going down. The Blink Stalkers can be quite cost effective at this point. But it's the medevacs that they really want to try and pick off if at all possible. They can boost away though another Blink, only 1 gets taken down. And if we look at the resources lost, weak overall this game, losing a tad bit more. The Vikings getting picked off is a nice addition though, levels things out very nicely. But yeah, getting those 2 Colossi really resets things and allows the Viking count to build equally with the Colossi count. So This is now going to be counterattack time, counterattack territory. But remember, Terran has a good amount of production. Bunker's trying to come down. But look at this large area that's trying to be defended. All through here is what's got to be held. And that is an awkward way to go. Really, Revenge needs as much information as he can get just to be able to scout it all out. But Stim baited. Link Stalker's moving back. The Colossus, of course, making its way up and in. The third hasn't been discovered yet, but very shortly will be by Weak. And if Weak sees that, he can pick it off. We'll now spot it. And this is going to be very frustrating. He can't even lift away, I don't think. I think the Stalkers could pick it off if they wanted to. Weak, though, realizing, hang on, if he's not coming to defend this, he must not be confident in terms of the sheer forces he's got. So he's pushing on in. Those two Colossi now are dealing a significant amount of damage. The Viking Cow not there to combat them. And the Blink Stalkers just picking away nicely. +1 is done, though, for Revenge. But he's got units in his main and in his natural. Zealot's tearing through the mineral line there. And the Colossi just still doing such significant amounts of fire. This is very frustrating to try and deal with. And it's not looking too solid. Some of these units are seeing in the back, but the Stalkers tearing through. There's a counter drop coming down simultaneously. But has Revenge spread himself too thin? He's trying to pull SCVs. He may go for the base race, but the Blink Stalkers and Colossi, the army supply for Weak is currently 93 to only 30 of Revenge. Revenge really not significant there. The mass recall can come back down. So, Revenge has bought himself some time. He's lost a lot of production capability, though. These Zealots and Stalkers are still going to town, and he's not got anything to get back with. Revenge losing significant numbers of SCVs now. 32 killed. Yes, 21 probes are down, but Revenge knows it. GG's out. Weak takes game number 1 of this best of 5.